Hello everyone. Today I have Rinkesh with me. Rinkesh is a cloud solutions architect. He is currently working with EPAM systems, and it's it's my privilege to have him today here. I invited him to discuss about a few things, and a lot of people post questions regarding DevOps, cloud, SRE. So today he's here with us, and with his experience, he'll help us to understand all of these things, and he'll also give us a little guidance, hopefully with the time that we have. So he started with TCS, and today he's with EPAM as a cloud architect. So he has a lot of things to share with us, and he is also Amazon AWS certified and Google certified. So looking forward, Rinkesh. I'm sure it would
Yeah.
be a very helpful discussion. Do you want to add something, Rinkesh?
Yeah. First of all, thanks a lot for inviting me here. And, it's a great privilege to share, the experience on the YouTube channels because even I was, one of the candidate,
Yeah,
out there who is struggling to find how to, start your journey towards cloud, how to get into DevOps because initially I used to work as a sysadmin. So there is a transition phase, right? So
yeah,
it's a bit tricky, I would say, how do you get there when you don't have enough resources? So it's a very good platform, I would say. What things that you are doing, it's a really, I would say, appreciable. So thanks a lot for that.
awesome. So as you told that you have moved from system administrator to cloud, and I think cloud is the most trending word today. Wherever you
Yeah.
go, any job profile that you look at, everybody is talking about cloud. And I can say that many companies have adopted cloud. Some of them were successful, some of them have failed. So what do you think? Like, when do you think a company has to migrate to cloud? Is it a mandatory thing that everybody has to move to cloud?
First of all, obviously there is no as such mandate that somebody is there who is forcing you to migrate to cloud, but the current situation or the current technology demands that you don't stay out of the race of the quick adaptation to the technology.
Exactly.
So that is the main thing that you should at least give it a shot. Okay, that what it has to offer, and do proper POC, do
Yeah.
proper planning. So that is the main thing. Okay, if some customers doesn't have the successful journey towards clouds, then there might be some process loopholes that might have
Yeah.
happened. But otherwise, if you adapt and you lay down the, I would say, the framework,
Mm,
then that is the I would say the best thing to I would say kickstart your journey towards. And
exactly.
and the second thing is like you have a lot of things available. Say, I'll just give you an example.
Hmm.
Say, for example, when I was working on premises as a sysadmin, right? So if
Okay.
I had to, basically start with some new tool or some new technology which is not available readily on the on premises, then what you will do is you will go out and search for the tools, search for the vendors,
Yeah.
and then you will basically evaluate all those things. But
Yeah.
when you are on cloud, you have everything available. You just you just decide whether I have to
Mm,
go with this, and you
yeah.
have all the setup ready in the managed service form, and
Mm,
you can basically do small POC and then decide whether do you go prod or not. So
yeah.
these are the advantage, I would say, and there are plenty of others, but the main thing
Yeah.
is easiness and the managed services, I would say.
Yeah. It it reduces maintenance, right? So apart from the
Yeah,
cost cutting, the main thing is the maintenance, right? So why do you have to manage a lot of things when somebody is already doing it for you?
doing it for
Yeah.
you. Yes, yes.
Awesome. So you know, so many people like coming from our discussion previous point, so a lot of people want to start their DevOps journey. I get a lot of messages every day that I'm a test engineer, I'm a developer, but I'm not liking what I'm doing and I want to move to DevOps. And even these days I get messages from interns or college grads that they want to start or pursue DevOps and cloud. So what do you think about this new trend, and do you think moving to DevOps would help them, or what is your thought? What is your take on this? Because this is the most trending thing that is happening. Like people trying to move to DevOps, irrespective of what they're currently doing.
The very first thing that I would like to say that it's a good thought that people have, that they want to switch their profile, because somewhere you should have that thought, okay, the
Yeah.
something is lacking in my profile which might hamper my career growth. Okay, so
Awesome.
that is very first thing that you should have in your mind. Okay, that I have to switch the profile. The
Yeah.
second thing will be like what to do, when to do, everything will be followed, but the first thing is your interest, right?
Yeah.
So that is first thing. And regarding how do you start about DevOps or any
Exactly.
other right, the SRE or any of that sort, I
Mm-hmm.
would say, lay down your foundations. Don't directly jump into the tools. Okay,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Jenkins, or you have GitHub Actions, or you have GitLab CI/CD. Okay, don't
Yeah.
directly jump into the tools. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
first lay down the foundation. So I would say the very first thing is, if you are not Linux expert, or at least I would say you don't hold basic hands-on on Linux, start with Linux.
Okay.
That is the core thing.
Yeah.
It is just like, I would say, if somebody is from the commerce background, he doesn't know how to
Yeah.
operate, I would say, computer, right? So it is equivalent. So if you don't
Yeah.
know how to operate Linux,
Linux.
then it is okay. So DevOps is like zero for you, right? So
Exactly.
each
Everything
and
starts
every
with
step,
Linux.
yeah, everything starts with Linux. You
Yeah.
have to do basic day-to-day operations or basic things on Linux only. So
Exactly.
Linux is must. Okay, and
Okay.
then after that, there are plenty of tools. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there are like, you can start with basic programming languages or the scripting thing.
Yeah.
Again, it has its own advantage, I would say, because DevOps is not, I would say, one specific tool or something
Exactly.
of that sort. You can, you learn it. Okay, so it's about the culture, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of things are there in the DevOps which needs automation, and for
Yeah.
automation, you should know Bash or Python or any of the PowerShell or Go language, any of the scripting language
Anything.
that
Yeah.
you are comfortable,
Yeah.
right? So these two things I feel, will lay down your foundation. The second thing is like, after this, I mean, those are basically, I would say, necessary for cloud, or
Mm-hmm.
uh, I would say there is some overlap, I would say, between DevOps and cloud, I would say, in terms of,
Exactly.
roles and responsibility. But those will be like, how does DNS operate, or how does network
Mm-hmm.
operates, right?
Yeah.
So all those things will be followed. But the very
Yeah.
basic thing for the DevOps would be like Linux and scripting.
Awesome. Yeah. So, for everybody who's watching this, Rinkesh already told us how to start with the DevOps journey, because many people want to move to DevOps, but they don't know what is the proper order, right? Because there's a lot of material on YouTube, there's a lot of material on Udemy, other platforms, but you need to start in a systematic way. What you have to learn first, and also thanks Rinkesh for telling our viewers that as well. And so coming to this point, right, you said that DevOps and cloud has a kind of overlap. And over the last 3 to 4 years, I can say there is coining of a new terminology called site reliability engineering. That was there previously as well, but these days it's in the trend, I can say. So what is the difference between DevOps and site reliability engineering according to you?
Okay. According to me, okay, I mean, it's again, there is an overlap between DevOps and the SRE as well. Okay,
Exactly.
and if you go by the Google's definition, right, it says, okay, class SRE implements DevOps. Okay, so
Yeah.
basically, in if I were to put that in very simple terms, okay, very
Hmm.
simple terms,
Yeah.
it's basically operations or the support
Hmm.
that you give for your production infrastructure.
Okay.
It can be anything. Okay, it is not necessarily that you are basically supporting any application, but the entire thing which basically which consists of infrastructure, application, automation, everything. Okay,
Okay.
and if something goes down, okay,
Hmm.
so what you will do, so you will call SRE engineer. Okay, this is something which is has gone down. Okay, what
Okay.
needs to be done? Okay,
Okay.
so this is very basic thing, I would say. The another task that SRE does, like I would say, the automation, they will find, there are any manual tasks, okay,
Hmm.
which are taking a lot of time.
Okay.
Then SRE candidate or SRE personnel will basically try to automate those things. Okay, so DevOps is, I would say, it is just, most of the people will think it is just a CI/CD. Okay,
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it is a lot more than that. If you add, say,
Exactly.
automation, support and everything, then it will become SRE. So I would say DevOps is subset of SRE.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's how it is. And SRE engineer also helps you to basically lay down the principles or the framework to
Mhm.
build your CI/CD. Okay, so basically they have a ground reality experience. Okay, how should you
Yeah.
go about it, best practice and all those things. So that's how it would be. But you can start with at least one role.
Mhm.
Do
Yeah.
not directly, I would say, go ahead and with SRE role.
Yeah.
Start with DevOps, then SRE you can start with, because SRE has a lot more than that. Then you will
Exactly.
have, if you go with some management kind of a thing, then they will ask you to represent, okay, what is the SLA of your application for last 1 month. Okay, so
Okay.
SRE has all those terms as well. What is SLA, what is SLI, what
Yeah.
is SLO, how do you configure that in monitoring and all those stuff. So a lot of things in SRE.
Yeah.
DevOps is a subset of SRE.
Awesome. So, if you see, even the pattern that we are talking about, for someone to be a DevOps engineer or an SRE engineer, they need to have some prior understanding of things, right? So, let's say that you are a developer. So, you are
Okay.
trained in your college or any training institute that you have been to. So, they'll teach you about the concepts of uh, like the basic concepts of development or something. But
Mhm.
now some people, whether our viewers or somebody who is messaging on LinkedIn, they're asking me that can we start our career as a DevOps engineer, right? So what do you think
Okay.
about this? Can this actually happen? Because everybody who is a DevOps engineer right now, they must have been a system administrator or a build or release engineer, something like that, and then they move to DevOps.
Mhm.
So how do you think about a college grad choosing their career as a DevOps engineer?
I guess it can happen. I don't see, it is uh, something different, because see,
Hmm.
if you think logically,
Yeah.
college grades are, expected to write some code which
Yeah.
is, very efficient or a quality code,
Yeah.
right, without any experience. So why
Yeah.
can't, freshers cannot do DevOps things, right? So
Awesome. Yeah.
it is doable, I guess. It is just that you should know what needs to be done. As I said before, what is the foundation thing. You
Exactly.
should just focus on that, and they are, good to go into the market and grab some, golden opportunities.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah. I think I also say in the same lines that just once you join any company, just have some 15-20 days of training. There are a lot of material, so then you
Yes,
can definitely start your career as a DevOps engineer. Why not? Yeah.
yes, yes.
Yeah. Awesome. And Rinkesh, I'll take one popular question that people usually ask. There are three popular cloud technologies: AWS,
Okay.
Azure, GCP, right?
Mhm.
So for someone to move to cloud, where do they start from? Does it actually matter that they're starting with AWS or Azure or Google Cloud Platform? According to you, does it matter?
See, it actually doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh, but what matters is you should take at least one cloud. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is very important thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Nowadays you cannot keep, the cloud technologies out of your profile. That
Hmm.
is not something, desirable. Now, you should take a wise decision, I would say.
Hmm.
Uh, like, at what stage you are in your life or in your career. Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So just think like, okay, what is the demand in terms of AWS jobs or in
Hmm.
Azure or in basically GCP? Okay. And
Exactly. Yeah.
how much risk you can do, how much risk you can take. Okay. So if you are a college grad, you can start with any cloud, no issues. Okay. uh, you can go for, AWS. Okay, because
Okay.
it has a more demand in terms of a jobs. But
Yeah.
again, there is a downside of it, right? There are already, plenty of engineers out there who are going to compete against you. Okay,
Exactly.
so
Yeah.
just think about the odds that you are clearing the interview. Okay,
Yeah.
so if you have that thought in mind, go with GCP, because there are
Okay.
very few engineers who are very highly skilled. So
It's a
even
rare
if you are not,
profile.
yeah, rare
Yeah.
profile, but the GCP's demand is increasing because of
Exactly.
its marketing strategy and all those things.
Yeah.
But you can take that route as well. But if you are
Hmm.
confident, you can start with AWS as well and Azure as well. No harm in any of the cloud. Just think
Yeah.
about, at what stage you are in your life.
Okay.
You should go with AWS, Azure, or any cloud is fine.
So if we look this in the other way, now we talk
Mhm.
from the engineer's perspective, right? From the engineer point of view, you have answered pretty well for whoever is watching this video. Now, from the point of view of an organization, let's try to
Okay.
understand. If I'm an organization, I mean, I'm working in an organization, and I want to choose a cloud platform because you
Mhm.
have a very good experience on cloud. So I would like to know how do they approach this? Because engineers, okay, you can make your own decision, but for organization, it's not that straightforward, right? So
Yeah.
according to you, what should they consider amongst the cloud platforms that are available?
Okay, so there are two things. Okay, so
Okay,
very first thing is what is your demand and what is that you are looking for. Okay,
okay,
uh, so I'll to take you to one of the example that we worked on. We were working on a migration project. Okay,
okay,
and the demand was like a kind of a analytics workload or AI/ML kind of a workload. Okay,
okay.
so what I feel is Google is dominating in that space because it
AI
has a lot of
space.
AI space, and
Yeah,
it has a very good experience in terms of building all those things because
agree.
Google came up with TensorFlow, right? They are providing
Exactly.
TPUs as well, right?
Yeah.
So very good platform for that. So
Hmm.
it is no brainer for such situation like Google is
Yeah.
the place the where you should go. Okay,
Yeah.
this is one aspect. Okay, the second aspect that organization will have is about TCO. Okay, total cost of ownership.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and now it doesn't matter, right? Okay, like which cloud has to offer what services, but ultimately they will have one calculation or a spreadsheet wherein they will ask you, okay, prepare the TCO for AWS, Azure, and GCP.
Exactly.
Which one is cheaper? I'll go with that. Okay, so that is
Exactly.
second aspect. Okay, so both, and then you have to do a trade-off. Okay, what should I do? Okay, so that is the
Okay.
second, I would say, decision making point. Okay, but if even if you want to go with say TCO right now,
Hmm.
I mean, whatever I have seen so far, I mean, Google is offering very huge discounts. Okay,
Okay.
and even if somebody who is migrating to cloud from one cloud to another or starting new journey,
Hmm.
Google is offering huge discounts. I mean, I'm not the official spokesperson, but
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
what I have seen,
Yeah.
right? And that is what I have seen. So why not grab that opportunity for 1 year at least? They are offering at least, I guess, heavy discounts on the migration. They don't charge for the migration and something like that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
one year they give you huge discounts. So that's how it is. So why don't we grab that? So that is another way to look at it.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So it's always very complicated when you want to,
Yeah.
whenever you're working on migration project or when you have to make a decision of choosing a cloud platform. I think a lot of things has to go in. Thanks for
Yeah.
putting that. So one thing is moving to cloud, and the other thing
Okay.
is what happens after moving to cloud, right? So we have been talking
Right.
about moving to cloud and everything, but once you move to cloud, what I believe is you have to have a very robust monitoring system, right? Because
Right.
you have to track a lot of things like tracking your applications, uh, like resources, tracking your infrastructure cost itself, and then if you're on Kubernetes, you have to track how things are going on your cluster. So can you give us a little like I cannot ask you for entire details, but can you like just brief on what kind of setup one should have once they migrate to cloud in terms of monitoring?
Okay, okay. So very first thing that I always suggest, because that is what we have experienced. Okay,
Yeah.
so I mean we had minor, I would say in one of the organization that I was working on,
Hmm.
kind of a minor malicious activity happening in the cloud environment. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
and that we came to know once Google told us, okay, this is something has happened. Okay,
Oh, okay.
okay, and that was also after 3 days. Okay, because we
Oh,
did
okay.
not have a proper monitoring or the logging system in place. Okay,
Exactly. Hmm.
okay, though that was not that severe. Okay, but something malicious is happening, so Google will obviously will they will let you know.
Yeah.
So that's when we realized, doesn't matter whether it is a dev, UAT, or prod, put your monitoring and logging system first.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
okay,
Yeah.
so that is the first thing that you should consider while designing your cloud or DevOps setup. Okay,
Exactly.
so I mean, we started with the cloud native monitoring. I mean, in GCP, if I were to talk about, it is Stackdriver, right? So
Okay.
we started with that. Okay, so there are, I would say, at broad level, I would say there are two aspects. One is monitoring and one is logging
Logging. Yeah.
at broad level.
Yeah.
Okay, so make sure at each and every level you have a logging enabled. at each and
Okay.
every level. I would say firewall rules or network load balancer or a cloud armor WAF. Okay. I mean, Kubernetes, at each and every level, you have a logging enabled. Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
because you have that much of data, then you can play with it. Okay. You can have a
Exactly.
custom metrics out of it. Okay. And for monitoring as well. Okay. Try to collect all the necessary data, because if you talk about monitoring, it has a lot of things. Okay. So,
Yeah.
I mean, that's where, the SRE engineer will play a major role. Okay. Over here.
Exactly.
So,
Yeah.
right. So basic thing, people will start with, okay, uptime check. Okay. Whether application is up or down. Okay. CPU, RAM, disk. This is very basic. The next level is, okay, what is the performance of my application? Okay, within how
Okay.
much time, my application is responding. So it would
Mm-hmm.
be like in milliseconds. So the response should be like within 200 milliseconds. If it is not, then, basically highlight that. Okay.
Okay.
So that's
Okay.
where your SLIs and SLOs will come into the picture, because this is what you sign with the customers. Okay. This is the
Exactly.
performance I guarantee you. Right.
Exactly.
And that's how, the entire monitoring system is built around application. And even for database as well, you can have a monitoring, like, what are the ongoing queries, for how many how many hours, or for how many minutes, it was executing, what are the active sessions, what is the response time of a database. So all
Yeah.
those things you can have in your monitoring dashboard. So you can have a very fancy dashboard wherein, you can project that onto the, 56-inch I would say, the TV, wherein you can have,
Yeah.
entire thing centrally available.
Yeah.
So I guess that's how you can basically place it,
Mm-hmm.
logging and monitoring, I guess.
I think I cannot even ask you for more, because that was very well put, Rinkesh. I think somebody whoever is watching this video, even if you can tell this much in your interview, I think you'll definitely be selected, because monitoring and logging is such a important aspect once you move to cloud. If you can do that for your organization, I think your organization will be very happy with you, right? Because that is why
Yes,
you
yes,
are
absolutely.
yeah, that's so nice. Um, I have one more question, Rinkesh. Like, let's take a scenario, and let's say that someone is a Java developer. This is just for reference, and they want to move to DevOps, right? Because we have been discussing about
Okay.
moving to DevOps. Just take one persona. Let's say that this guy is a Java developer, and he wants to move to DevOps. So, sorry for putting you on spot, but can you just tell what are the things that he has to learn so that he can move his career to DevOps, like step by step, if you can roughly tell us
Okay.
what are the things
Okay.
so that he can
I
move.
guess, if he's a developer, he or she
Mm,
is a developer,
mm.
is 50% on their way, I would say.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Because ultimately, what is DevOps is like, how do you basically automate the entire SDLC,
Exactly.
or the infrastructure provisioning,
Yeah.
right? So some of the parts, they must be knowing, right?
Exactly.
Once the code is ready, I have to push it in the
Yeah.
GitHub repository, right?
Yeah.
Then there would be a build trigger. At
Yeah.
least he would know that. Okay. The rest of the
Mm.
things would be like, the testing, and how to integrate that with Jenkins and
Yeah.
pipelines and all those things he can learn. But the 50% of the things, like, the flow, entire flow of DevOps, right?
Yeah.
He is already there, right?
Exactly.
To start with, he can start with, I mean, I would say, uh,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of tools, what they are using right now in the current organization. If
Okay.
he or she is already a developer, what tools they are using.
Okay.
Okay. If they are already on Jenkins, okay,
Okay.
you can start with Jenkins to learn. Okay.
Okay.
If Okay. But if they are not using any of the, I would say, popular
CI/CD
tools,
tools, or okay.
right, then I would say, you can start with GitHub,
Okay.
that is, or GitHub Actions. Okay. Because
Perfect.
this is the trend that I have, seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
People are moving away from Jenkins. I mean,
Yeah.
though the Jenkins is very popular, I mean, nobody can beat that.
Yeah.
But the GitHub Actions is, I would say the serverless approach of
Ex-
CI/CD,
yeah. That's perfect.
right?
Yeah. Serverless is something that everybody is looking for.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can start with either Jenkins or GitHub Actions, and the
Okay.
rest of the things will be followed, right? If you want to get into the infrastructure provisioning, because you are the developer, so you will not have any visibility into the infrastructure provisioning and all those things, how network works,
Exactly.
how DNS works, right? So in that
Yeah.
case, you can basically, I would say, you can start with the UI first. I mean, that is what I
Okay.
feel. People generally start with Terraform, But what I feel is you start with UI, okay, how to do something on cloud, okay, using
Awesome.
normal navigations, okay,
Awesome.
so
Yeah.
that it will basically create a picture in your mind. Okay, that's how it works. That's how it flows. Once you
Exactly.
have that visibility, that's how you configure. Once you are confident about that, go and code that in the Terraform and put that into the CI/CD, right?
Perfect.
So
Yeah.
that's how you can cover the, I would say, infrastructure as a code part.
And then slowly start with Docker or Kubernetes once they know these things,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
yes. So basically, once they are on this stage, then
Yeah.
the next level would be like, the obvious thing is about container and
Containers. Yeah.
the Kubernetes, right? So that's when they can, move to that. But the
Yeah.
foundation is this.
Awesome. So since we have all of these things, right? We have a lot of things in DevOps, cloud, and SRE. So may I ask you, what is your approach in learning new things? Let's say that today you have to learn something new. So what is the way, I mean, what is the approach that you take so that somebody who is watching us, they can also understand and take a similar approach?
Okay. So if I need to learn something because I am already at some stage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So in that case, I need to see what is the current demand in my organization. That is the first thing that I will look for.
Okay.
Okay, or what they are exploring. I mean, I'll
Okay.
give you the example, right? In one of the scenario we were exploring the APIs gateway. Okay,
Okay.
so we
Okay.
explored a lot of tools. Okay, we
Mm-hmm.
explored Kong, we explored APG.
Okay.
uh, Google has its own API gateway now. Okay,
Exactly.
so we explored all the things, and because we had a set of requirements.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's how we basically went about it.
Okay.
So see what organization demands. The
Okay.
second thing that you can do is, I mean, always check on the job description, though you are not actively looking for a job change,
Okay.
but go for it. Just see what Naukri has to offer, or what LinkedIn has to offer. Okay, what they demand, what tool
Okay.
they demand. Okay, and then you can filter out what are the commons across, what are the common things across all the JDs, or at least
Okay.
50 or 60% of the JD had this particular term. Go for it if you don't know it. Okay,
Okay.
so that's how you can basically go for a new tool or the learning that thing. And if you are a fresher, then the equation is completely changed. Then you
Exactly.
have to go from the foundation, like that whatever I said in the beginning, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's how it would be.
So you basically follow any official documentation. Like, let's say you have to learn tool X today. So do you go through the tool X official documentation, or you directly jump onto YouTube or any Medium blogs, or how do you learn something?
Everything that you said. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, so basically whenever you do Google, you will have couple of documentation followed by the video
Exactly.
links.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so first thing is, I guess, YouTube. I mean, that is what I personally feel,
Hmm.
to start with. Okay,
Yeah.
because it gives you a visual representation, and humans
Exactly.
are very attracted to the visual things, right?
Yeah.
In terms of learning, right?
Yeah.
So that will help you, and then go back to the documentation, because it will have a minute details,
Okay.
right? And obviously, if you can do POCs as well, like you set up some small labs, so that will give you hands-on
Hmm.
experience, and
Proof of
that will
concept.
basically, right, and that will basically save everything in your mind. Okay, once you do hands-on, then it will be, it is kind of a persistent in your mind.
Perfect. Awesome. So I think you have answered all of our questions for our viewers, and this will be pretty informative for someone who is watching this. Thanks a lot, Rinkesh, and we would definitely like to do follow-up videos if you have time, and probably
Sure.
go on a specific topic. Today we were discussing in general all the doubts that people were posting me, and maybe in the future, if you have time for us, we'll invite you and discuss about a specific topic, and then we can deep dive onto that specific thing. Thanks a lot for today.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me here, and I would also, love to come here again and, basically interact with you and all the viewers. So thanks a lot
Awesome.
for having me here.
Thank you, Rinkesh. Bye
Thanks a lot.
guys.
Bye.